everyone. Welcome to Final Takes. I'm Mark Szuszkiewicz, State Assembly candidate in South Brooklyn, and I'm here at the Don't Give Up the Ship rally in City Hall Park. And the people that showed up here today, they are sick of the restaurants being closed, they are sick of the gyms being closed, they are sick and tired of the shutdown for a virus that has a 99% survival rate. So the chances of them getting sick are very slim, but they are sick and tired of De Blasio and the shutdowns in New York, and they want the shutdowns to end. Let's hear what they have to say.
Number one, are you ready? Are you ready?
Tremendous show, tremendous success.
Don't blame me. I didn't vote for him. Good afternoon, New York. Are we ready to take our city back? You know what? I'm here for a very simple reason. Because I love this city. And I know you're here because you love this city too. Am I right? It breaks my heart to see this city being destroyed. It breaks my heart to see what our mayor is doing on every front. He puts more and more money into the budget. He raises your property taxes, and yet everything is getting worse. You know, my parents came to this country as poor immigrants. My father's from Greece, my mother's from Cuba. You know my story. I hate to see the city that welcomed them with open arms, where they were able to follow the rules, work hard, and achieve the American dream. They started their own business. We got more fans here. And for all of you, it's great to see the enthusiasm today, isn't it, guys? We're taking our city back! I see a lot of people here today. And a lot of you are small business owners like my parents were. You may be restaurant owners. You may have lost your job because the mayor won't open our industries back up. This is an attempt to instill here in this country, in this city, the very policies that my mother and my father fled, and we're not going to accept it. Make no mistake about it. The anarchy, the lawlessness, the attacks on job creators. This is an attempt to bring socialism to our nation, and we reject it. And as a daughter of a Cuban refugee, that is why I'm going to Congress to fight Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the squad.
We need our guns!
And the bottom line is, this is why elections matter. As Scott said, it's really not about politics. It's about what do you want as a city and as a nation. I want to continue to preserve the American dream. The American dream that lets the daughter of immigrants in one generation run for mayor of the most powerful city of this country, to run for United States Congress. Believe me, What you see happening in Venezuela and other countries around the world, the most wealthiest country in South America, Venezuela, look how it was destroyed. And we're not going to allow those policies here in the United States of America. And that is why we're here today, to say no to the mayor, say no to AOC, say no to socialism, say no to communism. This is America, the greatest country in the world, and we are going to fight for her, and we are going to stop them who are trying to destroy her from within. So I tell the mayor, look at the people of your city. They are people who create things. They are people who build things. They are job creators. They put their lives on their line to protect our city, our police officers. The people who are willing to take a sacrifice, risk every money that they've worked so hard for to start a dream, a business, open a restaurant, whatever it may be. Look what you are doing to them, Mayor. You have never built anything. The only thing you've done, Mr. Mayor, is destroy the greatest city in the world. And we're not going back to the 70s and the 80s. But in order for us to stop them, it's up to all of you to get out there and vote. Get out there and work for the candidates of your choice that you think will preserve the American dream. That's what you need to do. And there are great candidates out there who put themselves out there and are willing to do a job that really nobody wants to do right now. Okay? But we have to have their backs, and we need to make sure that we elect good people. Good people. All right? That's the most important thing. So God bless you. Get out there, use your right, and vote out those people who are defunding our police, who are disrespecting our hardworking, tax-paying citizens, and let's take not only our city back, but let's make sure that we keep America great.
Future Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis, ladies and gentlemen. Now, one of the things that was very difficult to deal with during this pandemic, go ahead, it's a great country. USA! 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 It is a great country. Part of the reason it's a great country is because we have freedom of religion. And yet, largely, over the course of the last 5 months, people were largely prohibited from praying with others at a tough time. At a time when people were looking to pray to seek solace for the loss of loved ones. At times when people were looking for divine inspiration dealing with the loss of a job. City government said essentially, again, it's okay for Target and liquor stores to be open, but not churches.
I unveiled this official portrait of De Blasio a few months ago, right up the street in front of City Hall. Just a few people saw it, but I said, let me re-unveil it for you people.
Thank you, thank you.
What we have here, folks,
it's self-explanatory.
a painting, a picture is worth 1,000 words. This one is worth 2 words. This here is a crevice, a divot, also known as a hole. This is a donkey, a mule, also known as
First I gotta say, is Brooklyn in the building? Staten Island, where you at? Hey, Queens, where you at? New Jersey, you in the building? Is the Boogie Down Bronx in the building? Can't understand, can't miss out on Manhattan, where you at?
Is New York in the building? I had to re-gas myself because I sat here and I heard on the monitors the reflection of all the shootings that have taken place in our city since January. Over 1,000 people in our community shot. I can't even tell you what the number is of those that are DOA, those that are dead, because of the stupidity and the irresponsibility of not only the person that occupies this building, but his cohorts that also work out of this building. They don't work together. And they're not here building the bridges that we need to bring our city back together. Actually, they're helping to divide it. They're the ones that's creating the animosities in our community. They're the ones that's sending people out there angry who can't eat because they're not taking care of their business. So I say to this mayor, it's time for you to go. These are the same people that get in a back room and praise our police and stand there and take pictures, then don't want to put them on their Facebook pages, but then they get out in the street and stand with protesters and make our police look bad. These are the imbeciles that we have in elected office right now. This is the person who said he was going to come in and build New York together from a tale of two cities. Well, Mr. Mayor, I got something for you. You're living in two cities, the stupidity and the corrupt city that you helped to create. You heard them mention DeBelle Gardner, the 1-year-old that was shot. I could tell you so many other names. You also heard about the 12-year-old out of Brooklyn who was raped by a cab driver. Or let me just say this, a person who imitated a cab driver, because all cab drivers are not rapists. Just like all police are not police brutality individuals. We need to understand something. Everything that's going on is festered by poor leadership in our city. These elected officials we have in office are cowards. They bow down to the socialists, they bow down to the progressives, and don't got an understanding of what they need to be doing, which is bringing our city together. We should be working together in every city, every borough, from every corner of New York City, that we come together as one. Now, I will never stand here and never support the idea of somebody picking up something or throwing or hurting or harming or shooting any one of our police officers. We need our cops on the street. And Mr. Mayor, bring back the anti-crime team. I'm tired of seeing people get killed.
Tony Herbert, ladies and gentlemen.
I unveiled this official portrait of De Blasio a few months ago, right up the street in front of City Hall. Just a few people saw it, but I said, let me re-unveil it for you people.
Thank you, thank you.
What we have here, folks,
It's self-explanatory.
a painting, a picture is worth 1,000 words. This one is worth 2 words. This here is a crevice, a divot, also known as a hole. This is a donkey, a mule, also known as
So with other cities and states around the country with the restaurant industry, they take precautions. They have dividers in the bars, people stay 6 feet apart, and they're doing fine. But for some reason in New York City, they won't allow restaurants to do indoors. Restaurants are a tough business to stay open in New York and during normal times, and now they're keeping restaurants closed from opening inside. Where are the jobs going to be when this is all over for all of these small businesses go out of business? Enough is enough with the shutdowns. We need to open up restaurants immediately.
Thank you, good afternoon, and I love New York. I was reminded of that sign when I came through the Holland Tunnel today. So thank you for coming. I want to thank my staff, my partners, my landlords, all for dealing with this over the last few months, working hard together to come up with solutions to try and stay in business. We fed over 125,000 people out of small kitchens. The hospitals, the first responders, hotel, hospital employees. homeless shelters, restaurant employees we've been feeding, trying to get people back to work. Early on, my team set up a platform called Feed the Heroes that helped raise money for restaurant employees and put people back to work. My grandparents are from Brooklyn. My other set of grandparents are from Ireland. My parents are from Brooklyn. I was born in Brooklyn. My kids were born in Dumbo before it was called Dumbo. And, you know, back when I grew up on the Jersey Shore and when I decided to be a chef in the 70s, the place to be was New York. The place to learn was New York. I came to New York as a teenager to go to concerts and ball games and see the Empire State Building and to enjoy the Times Square back then when it was fun. And when I decided to be a chef, the place to go was New York City. New York had the best of everything. The best restaurants, the best chefs, the best restaurateurs, the best in any industry. The leaders were all in New York, and you came here to earn your stripes. Sadly, right now, the Empire State Building is crying, and the city is dying. The restaurant industry is dying, and there's just no solution. There's no solution in sight. I came here in 1984. I've been working 37 years in the restaurant industry, and my restaurants are now closed. I have no decision in that. Outdoor dining does not work. Outdoor dining will be over in a few weeks, even for those that do work. The delivery business is not meant for restaurants like mine. And when I grew up, if you love something like you love New York and you love the restaurant business, you fight for it. So we need to start to fight. We need to get some answers. Before COVID, several years ago, New York City was baked into a shit cake. It wasn't a sheet cake, it was a shit cake. COVID is the icing on the cake, and it's not. People have been going out of business pre-COVID with the laws that have been changed that are anti-small business in New York City. This is a cry for help for me. This is not a political stance for me. This is a cry for help for the restaurant business to try and get some solutions and some answers as to why we are not able to open indoors. The Hospitality Alliance in New York City, I want to thank them for suing or attempting to sue the city for the restaurant industry. They brought this up this week. David Burke Tavern on the Upper East Side closed after that news that we have no idea, nor is there anything on the table for De Blasio to speak about indoor dining in the near term, his words. They're not discussing it in the near term. I don't know what the near term means. It sounds like I don't know what to tell my landlord, my employees. I don't know what to do about my own business. Do I move back to Jersey? We have some thriving restaurants, outdoor dining in Jersey. But that'll end soon, too, if we don't get back to work. I'm confused also about why you can eat in Long Island in an indoor restaurant, Westchester, Saratoga, Pennsylvania, Washington, D.C. Everywhere else you can eat indoors, but not New York City or New Jersey. I don't know if they breathe differently in the Hamptons than they do in New York City. Why is any difference? Anyway, I've always been, people have told me that I'm the ultimate optimist, and I have been, and I use the words fineo, which is failure is not an option often, and I will fight to stay alive in New York City. I don't want to leave New York City. There will be a point where we can't afford it. But anyway, there's something I want to read to you, and it's something I read often, and to remind me to fight in this business, because it's a tough business. It's called The Man in the Arena, and for today, I will call it The Man in the Arena, but it's for everybody in the arena, men, women, and everybody that works in this industry. And it's called The Man in the Arena. And it's It is not the critic who counts. It's not the man who points out how strong the man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man in the arena whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, and who strives valiantly, who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who have never known neither victory nor defeat. And this is for all the restaurant employees and small business owners in New York to start to stand strong and keep the faith, because we shall get through this, we hope. You know, New York, New York, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere, but we do need help. It's not a one-man show. You know, there's also, in the 60s, you know, so at home, when I was quarantined, I started cooking at home, and I created a sous chef puppet. And we got pretty famous. And we listened to a lot of good rock and roll during those. And there's a song out there by Simon and Garfunkel called Mrs. Robinson. And one of the great lines, looking out to a hero in tough times, was, "Where have you gone, Joe DiMaggio? This nation turns its lonely eyes to you." And that's what we need in New York right now. We need some heroes at the top. We need some heroes at the top that we can turn to for help. And that's what we're asking for. So where have you gone, New York City? Where have you gone, the great mayors of the past? This city turns its lonely eyes to you. Please come and help us. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
David Burke. I don't know, David could be a little humble, so I don't know if you heard what he said. He has fed over 125,000 meals for people that needed them. At a time when he was struggling, his first thought was to help others. That's the spirit of New York City. That's the spirit of New Yorkers. That's the kind of guy I'd like to step into the arena with.
The NYPD, and I'm very proud to be a part of it for 30 years. Okay? I was here during the early 90s when we turned around Times Square. Right? And look at the way the city was up until, I don't even know, I want to use an Italian phrase, but I'm not gonna, I'm gonna leave it as is. Look what he's done to this. Look what he's done to this city. No more money, he claims. He's gonna lay off EMS workers. How many EMS workers is he gonna lay off? At what cost? How many lives are gonna be lost? Well, that's something that you probably have to ask his wife, who wasn't elected to anything. Well, he's gone through 3 police commissioners. Actually, he's gone through 2. He's on his 3rd. Hopefully he doesn't go through his 3rd, and hopefully Shea stays. But he's broken 2 police commissioners in the past. I don't know how anybody can work for this man. It's hard enough on our end having to deal with the nonsense that he's created in this city. He talks about he has no plan to put our kids back in school. He's worried about COVID. Well, I'll tell you something. We're worried about the shootings that are going to occur with the gang members with our kids. None of you here should have to worry about your grandparents, your parents, or even your children going to any store, even to go get bread, milk, and having to worry about them getting assaulted and coming home during the course of the night. Going to work. It's our God-given right to go out. I'm just going to give you, he claims murders are up in the city, burglaries are up in the city, and grand larceny's border are up in the city. Nothing. He's doing nothing. It's not just him, it's the city council. When I sit at the table, I go visit my parents in Staten Island, and we talk about voting, and we talk about, this mayor. You have to ask yourself, did you come out and vote? Because I've asked my parents, did your friends go out and vote? Everyone's very vocal, but did you come out and vote? Everybody should become activists in their community and get out and vote. Teach your children they need to go out and vote. Do not lose that message on them. 934 shootings as of the 21st of this month compared to 504 last year. We have 1,149 victims as opposed to 595. And homicides, we get 63 more homicides, 270 this year than last year. That's 63 people that know those families. It's not just 63 people, it's their families that also have to suffer this for the rest of their lives. What are we doing? Ask him, what are we doing? Absolutely nothing.
Get him out of there. Impeach the Blasio!
I want to thank everybody for coming out here today. I want to thank you for the support. More importantly, thank these guys and girls out in the street. Don't just do it now. Do it when you go to work. Do it when you're going home. Because if you think that we're out there slowing down and not fighting crime, the city council claims we are, all they're doing is just diverting their inability to do their job. We've never slowed down. It's their policies that have put us in this mess. Take it out on them. There is no reason in the world that we should ever give them a seat at our table ever again. They do nothing for us, and they continue to do nothing for us.
This guy, De Blasio, he's not from New York, he's from Massachusetts. You got a Red Sox fan running Yankee Town, and he could care less about everyday New Yorkers. He's so full of it that he goes and takes pictures with the police officers and then stabs them in the back when he's talking about them. He uses them for private security, but he's out there talking about defunding the police and all that nonsense. He goes and does ridiculous things like saying that we have the least amount of people in jail since World War II, and think that the city is somehow safe when we're all seeing the riots and the violence and the murders in the city. Just because you're releasing criminals does not make the city safer, and if anything, it makes it less safe. And this guy has the nerve to say something stupid like that. It's absolutely ridiculous. He's been talking about it for a long time, that he wants to find a way to end congestion traffic so that he doesn't have to sit in traffic when he's going to the gym in Park Slope. Well, guess what? I guess he figured out a way. He shut down the entire city, ruined millions of people's lives, and he could care less about it as long as his life is comfortable. He wants to defund the police, he wants to destroy the city, and what I say is we defund De Blasio and get him the hell out of New York. And the worst part about it is, he's not up for re-election in 2021. So Comrade De Blasio here, his mission is to destroy the city, and he could care less about the millions of lives that he's been ruining, and he's going to continue to destroy the city until 2021. So hopefully, people learn their lesson and don't elect another dumb, evil Democrat into office in 2021. I'm Mark Szuszkiewicz, and I approve this message. As I just said it, Brooklyn.
Tremendous show, tremendous success.